Hey guys, Sure Shot Midget here. So I got a super cool gun to do a video on. So this was sent all the way from Arizona for me to work on. As you can see, it is a Mark 18 style rifle. I'm not an expert on what's kosher and what's not. I really don't care. Honestly, you set your gun up how you want to. But I know there are some people that do like impressions, those type of things. And so they want like legit stuff, which is cool. You do you. This thing is a nice gun, though. I really, really like this gun. So let's just start from the back and go to the front. So on the back here, I put this on here. This is a Magpul CTR. He had an original crane stock. I assume it was just the stock VFC one. And it was missing the back plate. And the way it was designed, there was actually just plastic just protruding down in the way. So in order to put a lipo into the crane stock, or into the buffer tube, you would have to take the stock all the way off, which is an extra process. Plus, if you're using the nunchuck lipos, you can't take the stock off, put one part down the buffer tube, and put the other parts down the crane stock tube. It just does not work. So he actually ended up ordering a PTW style stock. They sell them for like $15 on eVike. They're just cheap Chinese replicas. They're not legit PTW, Systemas, or A&Ks or anything. But that will give him battery storage options. In fact, he could fit 2 stick lipos in the same stock. In fact, he could probably fit 3, 2 down or 1 down each crane stock tube and 1 down your buffer tube. It's a lot of wires, but I would just put 2. That's normally what I do on my ICS M4 with my PTW crane stock. I would just put 1 down each crane stock tube, and when I switch, I just unplug them. Simply unplug them. It's super easy to do. Of course, this stock's adjustable, so is the PTW one that he ordered. So this is mine. I am keeping this. It's got a metal buffer tube, ambi-sling mount. It's got the base gun is a VFC, so it's got the VFC mark, or Colt body, which is, if I'm not mistaken, kosher for a Mark 18. If I'm not mistaken, a Mark 18 is based off of a Colt body. I think so. Not 100% on that. Of course, safe semi-full auto. The body is metal, and it's VFC, so it's a really high-quality metal. VFCs are probably my favorite metal bodies. I might choose the Crytek Mark IIs over the VFCs, but VFCs are very close behind. It's anodized aluminum, super good finish. He did paint it. I'm not sure what type of paint. It's kind of like a snake skin. It's green and brown. I like the look of it. It's got the standard pistol grip. I'm not sure if this selector switch is aftermarket or not. It's like a unique looking one. I'm not sure if that came on this or not. The charging handle up here I swapped out for him. This is an ambi charging handle. I think it's a cheap Chinese one. I don't think it's one of the Angel Customs, which cost way too much. If it is, then I'm mistaken, I guess, but it looks just like a cheap Chinese one. In fact, on the package, it said made in China, so it's just some cheap Chinese one. It works, though. It's an AEG. You don't need it for anything. It just looks, really. He does have a pair of KAC flip-up sights there. He has an Element T1 on here. It has the built-in mount. I think this would probably be considered the medium height, which is perfect going over his pec box. The T1 is obviously painted. It does have, if I'm not mistaken, Kill Flash is what that's called. Or it's like the honeycomb, which is, pretty cool look. The pec box is fake. I don't know what brand it is. It's just fake. It has a Mark 18 rail system, of course. I assume it's Daniel Defense. It is painted over, so I do not see any of the licensing, but I assume it's just, a legit Daniel Defense license made by Madbull. He does have a few rail covers here and there on both sides. He's got a KAC pistol grip, which has been stippled on the front just for a little bit more of a firm grip. On the side here, he has a VFC 3VX flashlight. So it's a VFC VX3 flashlight. I think I got those letters mixed up. It does have a pressure pad, which is actually zip tied down, and it's super firm. This thing is not moving anywhere. The setting on the light, one is off, so it just won't turn on. Right? Yeah. And then you click it once, and then it'll turn on when you hit the pad, and then all the way is always on. So, of course, he's going to have it right there where when he wants it on, he hits the pad, and it's right there on that grip. So it's super easy to do. The rail on here, or the barrel, is like 10.5 or just 10 flat inches. Might be 11 inch, honestly. It's just give or take an inch and a half or so. The flash hider on here is a quick detach for a suppressor. I'm not sure which one, honestly. But I think it looks like a KAC, if I'm not mistaken, a KAC suppressor. So that's pretty much it for the externals. I don't think I'm skipping anything. As far as the internals, it has a Pro 1 hop-up unit. It's got a Lonex 50-degree bucking and a VFC steel barrel. Now, what was in here before was actually, I think it was a Maple Leaf bucking. It might be one of the, no, it was Maple Leaf. It had to be Maple Leaf. And it was too hard of a degree. It was like a, I think, 65 degree or 70 degree. I prefer the softer bucking, so it wasn't working as well on full auto because this thing does rip on full auto. So softer buckings are better for that. I wanted to point this out. This VFC barrel, it's got a Bible verse quoted on there, or not a Bible, yeah, I think it's a Bible verse, or just, you know, a saying. I think it's a steel barrel. This thing is nice, though. Like, look at the finish. I don't know how much he spent on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's really cool. I like it. And it shoots, I'd say, probably 180, 200 feet with the with .2 BBs and that current setup right there, which is pretty good considering it's only shooting 350 FPS. As far as the internals, it's a mouthful. It's got a lot. It's got a Lonex O-ring nozzle, a Lonex tappet plate, Lonex cylinder head, and Lonex piston head, and they're the mushroom type. I'm not a fan of the mushroom piston head and cylinder head. Not a huge fan of them. They are aluminum, so they're, you know, high quality. I think they're CNC'd. Good quality, good air seal. I'm just not a huge fan of them. I think it's more of a gimmick than anything because it's supposed to basically compress more air, and I've had like 3 of them in guns that I've built, and I haven't seen much of a difference in air volume. So in my opinion, it's more of a gimmick than anything. And then we have a pre-lightened SHS piston. It is brand new. Steel teeth on it. It has a It's got a ZCI M120 spring. I think the spring guide is stock. It's ball bearing because VFCs do come with ball bearing spring guides. If you didn't know, the VFC gearbox is also the base. Same with the body. It's got SHS 12-to-1 gears with a Lonex sector chip. It's got a BGC Spectre Mark 1. He bought a Mark II, and it was actually a lemon. Basically, it wasn't cutting off. When I pulled the trigger, it'd shoot, and I'd let go of the trigger, and it would continue to shoot. And I shimmed the sector gear low as I could, and it still did it. So something's wrong with it. So basically, I told him, I can send it back to Frank to fix it, but it's going to be like a month before you get your gun back. There's nothing I can do about it because I'm going to have to send the BTC to him. It'll be like 4 days for him to get it, and then he's going to get it and probably take at least a week and a half to fix it, and then another half week and transit back to me. So it's not, honestly, I mean, in the end, it could be worth it. It just depends on your opinion. But basically what we did is I had a friend's Mark I in his gun, and basically I just swapped it. I took his Mark I out and put it into his gun, and I'm going to send the Mark II back to Frank to fix to go into my other friend's gun that I have. So basically swapping, and in turn, he gets his gun back about a month early. Rather, not a month late. The trigger in here is a speed trigger. It is adjustable, so I still had to use 1 piece of plastic. Instead of using 2, I only had to use 1, so I guess it's nice. It is aluminum. It's a little sticky, I will say that. It's a little sticky inside of the receiver. It's actually inside of the gearbox shell, rather. It's a little sticky, but it's not going to affect anything except for, you know, somebody that wants to spam the heck out of it. You might not be able to shoot it as quick because it's not springing forward. But I don't see him just trying to hammer it. I don't know that he's that kind of player. But in the end, you know, if you have a BTC like this and nice trigger response and high rate of fire, you're going to use it, trust me. Once you have a really, really nice gun, you finally understand what it's like to own something that is custom built, hand-tuned, and something that performs way better than anyone else's guns. So he's definitely going to feel that when he plays with this. It's obviously got the VFC steel bushing still, and it has a Lonex motor. I'm not honestly sure what Lonex motor is. Neo Magnet, I'm not sure. On the sticker, on the label of it, it did not say the RPM or anything. If I'm guessing, it's probably a 3500. So 16 TPA roughly, I assume. 16 to 18 is what I'm thinking it is. Rate of fire, we will chrono it, but last time I chronoed it, it was 34 rounds a second, which is crazy. That is nice. So again, makes me think that it's more of that 16 TPA rather than 18. It is short stroke by 2 teeth, so it's shooting about 350 FPS. It's not shooting as hard as it should. It's about 10 to 15 FPS off of what it should be, because full stroke with the M120, it was shooting about 380, which it should be shooting about 390 to 400 with the ZCI M120. So it's a little bit off on FPS. Good air seal and everything. I don't know. Not sure why. Good. The hop up is set, seated against the gearbox. Everything is fine tuned. It's just a little bit off on FPS. Not a big deal. It still shoots really good. As far as lipos, I told him to use 11.1s. This is a 25 to 50C. 11.1. He's going to use, I think, 15 to 25, which is fine. First pre-cocking, it is pre-cocked 10 milliseconds, and then active braking is on light, or it's off. So the motor is going to, last a long time on this thing. I think the active braking is off. It's not Bluetooth, so I can't check my phone. I think it's off, and I think pre-cocking is on 10 milliseconds, because when I went with the M120, of course, it's heavier spring, so it wasn't pre-cocking as much, so then I boosted it up and did pre-cocking instead of none. So it's 10 milliseconds, and then I think the active braking's on 0. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. It shoots fantastic, so let's go ahead and chrono the thing. Also, I want to mention, for some reason, I think it's just because the active braking's on low. When you fire it on full auto, it's not going to reset the spring. So it's still going to pre-cock 10 milliseconds, no matter if it's on semi or full auto. It seems like that's not too big of a deal, because if he just plugs in a 7.4 lipo, it's not going to have enough power to pre-cock it, basically. So the spring's going to be fully forward. And he said he has a 7.4 lipo. So once he's done playing, plug a 7.4 lipo in here, fire it 3 times on semi-auto, put it on safe, unplug your battery, and your spring's almost fully compressed. As far as magazines, he has, I think he said he has like 6 or 8 of these. They are Magpul PTS PMags. I think they hold 120. He sent 2 of them with me, or with the gun to me. And again, I think they hold 120. There's 2 and 3. So again, I think he said he has 6 or 8. As far as feeding, they're not awful, but they're not the best. I am going to try one of my GMP mid-cap. Alright, so let's chrono here. I got PMag fully loaded with .2 BBs. 337. 337. 339. 340. 336. 338. 343. 335, 335, 335, 335, 337, 338. So it's pretty much 335 to 340 feet per second. That's with .2s with hop-up adjusted. It's actually over-hopped a little bit, so he might not prefer that. In fact, let's lower it a little bit. Whoop. Battery's dying, plus I hit the inside. Let's go ahead and turn it back on once it shuts off, see if I can get a few shots off. 336, 341, not much higher. So my chrono's tweaking out, so I don't know if I'll be able to get a chrono reading on this. 33.92, so chrono's dying. That is with an 11.1, so it's about 34 rounds a second. I got 35 earlier today when I chronoed not too long ago. So yeah, roughly 34, 35 rounds a second, which is pretty dang nice. So again, how I described about the trigger being a little sticky, overall, it's not bad or anything. You can still shoot it quickly. So in the end, it doesn't hinder anything. Again, that's semi-auto for those dumb people out there that don't know. It's a BTC MOSFET. That's how I can shoot that quick. So, another PMag. Honestly, this gun feels like shooting a PTW a lot. I don't know why. It just does. It's pretty dang consistent, too. Alright, so let's go ahead and try some full auto. As far as mid-caps, they don't feed the best on full auto. It's like the last 40 BBs or so just do not feed. Well, it skips. It feeds, but it skips. And you can hear it skip. The P-mags are worse than these mags. These are GMP high RPS mags. These are what I use, and these are a little bit better than his GMP mags. He said he does have a few flash mags, so if he wants to use full auto, I told him just run a flash mag. I'll test it with the cheap Chinese high cap to show you that with flash mags and high caps, full auto works fine. See how it skips? It skips a lot there. And it's at the end of the mag, so I just have to flip to semi. So, and that's the end of that mag. So, super good trigger response. Hardly any motor heat, believe it or not. There's not much motor heat to this thing. The battery does warm up, but the motor does not. So, really nice feeding with the high cap. Not much left in here. Let's just go ahead and finish it off on full auto. Alright, so let me know if you guys have any questions about this gun. I had a great time filming this video. Besides my camera was dying, I found out that the SD card was overloaded with footage. So I had to delete some. But overall, the gun is freaking nice. Externals are solid. The gun feels good. It's balanced good.